Death Star, man. Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
We knew this 6-part series was going to go quick, but damn, we're here already. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe. Of course, with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey, Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing good, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We're here, man.
Yes.
It's over.
It's over. Yeah.
But it wouldn't be the end of a series if we didn't have our favorite guest. Hunter, how you doing, man?
Yeah, world's biggest Star Wars fan, back to talk about Obi-Wan. Because, of course, I'm going to love it so much. It did no wrong.
Whoa.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. Here we go.
That was just dripping.
Yeah.
Dripping with sarcasm.
No, I liked it.
Good.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
it was cool.
So this is just going to be glowing then. Glowing.
Yeah, we're just going to be talking about how good it was the whole time.
I was going to say, I don't think we've done that yet, have we, Joe?
What's that?
Only pointed out the good stuff?
No. I mean, we're Star Wars fans.
Exactly.
We love
We
to
gotta
hate
find
it.
some- we gotta find something to bitch about.
Right.
But I mean, it's like finding the things that you didn't like and things like that. It doesn't mean you didn't like the overall product. It just means you had things that you were like, they could have done this a little differently, done that a little differently. Because I mean, if you just said, yeah, I liked it, you got to talk about it.
Yeah,
Right.
then you can't talk about anything.
Right,
But
right.
I will say the final episode was really good. All around, I guess overall I liked it the most. We got to see like what everything was progressing to, and it felt like it actually paid off, which is pretty good compared to the other Star Wars shows.
Well, so we were talking about this with the episode 5, right? Like the one thing Disney has done absolutely flawlessly since their acquisition is handle Darth Vader. Like Darth Vader's been just perfect. They haven't really screwed up Darth Vader.
Yeah,
I heard a ham in there.
I did hear a little sigh from you, Doug.
Well,
Surprise.
okay. Perfect's a bold statement. That's all. But Darth Vader
Well,
has
I
been
say
done
perfectly because
really
I mean,
well.
it's relative, right? It's on a scale. Like,
Yeah, sure. Yes.
the one character that they have handled as close to perfect as they probably can is Darth Vader.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we talked
He-
about like when he pulled that ship down, Force
it
Unleashed
was
style,
Yep.
very
and then
awesome.
ripped the damn
Very
thing
awesome.
apart.
Yes. Yes.
Come on now.
We're getting to see Darth Vader do some of the stuff that we've only heard about, right? So it's good in that way for sure. I will say the stuff we saw out of Vader was brilliant in this last episode. The only thing, I don't know. Do you want to get there
All right,
right now or what?
Well, do you want to start with Vader? So let's just say right now we're going to talk about episodes or part 6. I keep wanting to say episode 6. Let's say part 6.
Yep.
Because this really creative naming, thing they come up with.
Right.
So part 6, we're going to talk about that right now. We'll get back to our overall feelings on the series after we discuss part 6. So you want to jump right to Vader?
Sure.
All right. Go for it, Doug. What was your...
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, no, I have to mostly agree with everything you said, Joe. Okay.
Okay.
The all the bits with Vader, brilliant. From him having to pursue Obi-Wan when he's got this, rebel cell here that he could destroy completely. No, he's got to go handle his own crap first, right? That's indicative of Anakin, right? Vader. So that the fight with Obi-Wan, awesome, right? Which we can get into more details on. The only thing that bugged me was the repetition of the slash through the helmet. Now, I do understand why they did it. I get it. But it was like,
Okay.
huh.
Before you continue,
Sure.
I want to throw one thing that you've thrown at me before back at you.
Yeah.
Okay? This is live action.
Yes.
Okay, the animation fans, yeah, they're going to say, oh, man, you redid that. You rehashed that.
Right.
There's still a good portion of fandom that don't get into the animation stuff, and this is the first they've seen of something like that.
That's a true point. Yeah.
And then second point to that, this is not throwing it back in your face. You got Hayden Christensen. You use him.
Yeah. And that's what I was getting at with, yes, I understand why they did it. Yeah, for sure. That's the only thing that really bugged me. Okay.
Did you guys see the article that he prepped by watching that Rebels scene like multiple times?
I did not see that, but
Yeah,
Well, it
he's
shows-
actually like a big fan of the animation shows, and he watched that specific Ahsoka versus Vader scene multiple times to prepare for that exactly.
wow.
Well,
Which I think is so cool. It's like finally an actor that actually likes what he's doing. Like watches the stuff that he's not even in.
well, how do you feel about the rehash of that? Like,
I like it's a bit poetic. It's also a bit convenient, but I think I end up liking it because it was the other side compared to Rebels. So the whole thing I've been seeing go around is, okay, Obi-Wan got one of the sides, Ahsoka got the other side, and Luke brought the mask off. Like completely.
ooh,
So I've been liking that from a poetic standpoint, but it doesn't
Yeah, that's
really
very
work in a literal like oh yeah, that's very convenient. How strong is that helmet to not just have his head cut off?
Right.
But I think they were going for that though. More of like an
I have
artsy
a question.
way or something.
I have a question with what we've seen in The Mandalorian. You know, the Empire jacked all this Beskar.
Right.
Like, dude,
How come Vader doesn't have a Beskar helmet?
right? Like, you would think, especially after it getting opened up twice, you go, man, maybe I need something stronger.
True. Doesn't Palpatine like make sure he's weak though?
Oh, probably.
In my opinion, Palpatine did that in this episode.
Yeah, like he couldn't move. Like the second Palpatine showed up on the end, he was like, "Oh, he already knew Vader was gonna fail. Like this would just make him more mad." Like it seemed like it was just his plan the entire time.
Well, I think Palpatine, telling Vader basically, look, you need to let go of your old master. It's beneficial for Palpatine to actually have this loose end out there of Vader's, which can preoccupy Vader a little bit in his head anyway.
Yeah,
So
so it
that
doesn't overthrow Palpatine.
Exactly. He's less of a threat to Palpatine then.
Yeah. Did you guys like? I really like the dialogue. How Vader called Obi-Wan Master.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That I get they did that to make A New Hope make sense, but just the fact that like Palpatine immediately after says like, "Oh, I'm your only master," and Vader's like, "Oh yeah, of course," when he just said that.
Right.
It just to me it felt like Palpatine literally had eyes like on Vader during that.
Now, when he said that, I was thinking Anakin the whole time.
Oh, for sure. They
You
did
know.
the thing where it was like the blue light on his face was when he was Anakin, and then it turned red, and it was Vader coming back. It was cool to see him finally like vulnerable, since all we've been seeing in the Disney Vader is him just be a like horror monster,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
which I'm not complaining about. I'll watch Vader murder everyone for all day.
this is good TV, huh?
It's just great TV. Yep.
Well, if there was going to be anyone that was going to get the best of them, right? Like, it would be Obi-Wan in the middle.
Right.
I don't. Him not training at all or using the Force for 10 years and being a bum and then coming back and being weak and then just one day passes and he's like, yeah, I can beat Vader now, who murders multiple Jedi Masters at once.
I don't know, dude. Rey beat Palpatine in like 3 weeks.
Right.
Oh, and I have have multiple problems with that, obviously. We're not talking about that.
I'm just saying. At least Obi-Wan had a background. Like,
True, I think maybe...
it's like riding a bike, man. It's like riding a
Yeah,
bike.
it does seem like the Force is more like, okay, once your philosophy is resolved, you're going to have as much power as you need.
Okay, so that I'd like to visit that, because Hunter, we've talked before about new Force powers and things like that. This didn't really show any new Force powers, but it elevated the game, right? With all the boulders and things like that being thrown. How'd you feel about that? Like,
It felt a bit anime, like, oh, he had a flashback to his past and he gets his power up. But I don't know if we were supposed to take it like he became one with the Force, but to me, like that's when he became like a Jedi Master for real. Like after that is when he's now able to contact Qui-Gon. Like he has no limiters. He knew what he had to do and had no doubt. So I think like at that point it's pretty much like size matters not, right? Like he's fully there. He knows he can do that. So I was kind of cool with it.
I didn't really take it that way. I kind of just took it like they've been able to do this kind of stuff all along. It's just
and they're just showing it now.
They're just showing it now because they can.
I think Vader and Anakin, yes, but I think Obi-Wan's always been a lot more tactical, and that was just raw Force power.
Right. I
didn't have a problem with it.
I don't feel like it's a new power for him.
No.
Like it's something he could always do, but he didn't because he's the negotiator,
it was just telekinesis. Right? Like it wasn't something like bringing someone back from the dead or anything. Like,
oh, we're not talking about that. Dude.
Yeah,
Here's this.
No, he's just throwing some rocks.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about the scale that they went with, and I think they, just because they can now, they're doing that, and I think that's fine. Because, if George Lucas would have tried to do something like that in the prequels, it would have looked ridiculous.
It would have.
Sure.
And here it looked great. Like,
yeah. And I mean, we saw Vader in episodes 4, 5, and 6, and he did nothing comparable to what he's doing now, but it doesn't seem weird to us seeing him do those things.
No.
Like, every other character will be like, oh man, could they do that? Like, there's a discussion, but Vader is like, oh, of course he can. He's the chosen one. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, we actually had a discussion early on in this series where Doug made the comment like why doesn't Vader just like grab a ship or something, like,
and then he did it,
along those lines, and then like a couple weeks later Vader pulls the ship down and like rips the sides off of it, and it's like, oh.
Yep. Yeah, that was very awesome.
But I think your comment was, Doug, we always knew he could.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a part of me that feels like, we talk about, what abilities Vader shown us in those, in 4, 5, and 6. I think, it's not due to mercy or anything, but, what he did was tempered towards his opponent too, right? I mean, I think he could have taken out Obi-Wan on the Death Star at any point. It's just kind of how things were at that point. I mean, you get what I'm saying?
That's interesting, because I think if Obi-Wan tried, he could have beat Vader right there.
Really?
Yeah. Because, like, Obi-Wan only ever got stronger, like, after this, I guess. Because we get to see him train, we get to see him fight Maul and just completely dispatch him. And I mean, he beat Vader here, and I'd almost say this Vader's stronger than the one he meets on the Death Star.
Well, I'm gonna send this ball into Joe's court here, but we had a little conversation where Joe brought up to me that feels that Obi-Wan went on the Death Star knowing, okay, here's where I'm going to die. So, you recall that conversation?
Yeah, and here's the thing, like Obi-Wan's gonna pack this, he's gonna tamp this back down for another 10 years, right?
Maybe.
He re-tapped into the Force, he's doing that, but he's about to tamp it back down. So that struggle that he had at the beginning of this series, he's about to have it again. It's not like he's going to be able to go, oh, okay, I'm good. I mean, you got to imagine that this series takes place over at least a couple weeks.
Right.
With all the travel and things like that. So at least a couple weeks. So he's slowly tapping into the Force over a couple weeks. Whereas with A New Hope, I mean, you're talking a few days.
Yeah, but New Hope, he's instantly using like Jedi mind trick. He's using like the Force to make like sounds and stuff. He doesn't seem to be having the same struggle.
I don't think he's ready to chuck boulders though. Like,
well, okay.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. So I don't know.
I'm going to be in agreement there with you a little bit, Joe, because I feel like where we leave Obi-Wan in this series so far, he's come to grips with what has happened with Anakin, Vader, right? That's what opened him up, in my opinion, to be able to commune with Qui-Gon. He's going to be able to learn what Qui-Gon has to teach him. He can do, I shouldn't say simple, but he can, the lesser physical things that a Jedi does throughout that 10 years, but not necessarily is he training with his lightsaber every day, right? It's, you know what I'm saying?
Even think about the beginning of this series, his reflexes, right? His reflexes are fine. You know, you don't dodge those stormtroopers like that the way he did if you can't at least tap into those reflex portions of your Force ability.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I mean, him fighting in the Clone Wars, he was like automatically just subconsciously blocking, and he was like surprised at himself. It's like, oh, I can still do it.
Right.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think reflex wise and mentally he was fine, but when it came to exerting the Force to move objects, things like that, that's where he was struggling. So I don't know. I think he's going to be mentally quick, but as far as like the physically demanding stuff, like moving objects and things like that, not going to be as sharp on it.
Right.
And
go ahead.
As far as the fight with Vader, he was doing fine. He gave himself up.
Yeah. Like he could have got away. He just kind of looks over and says, "Okay, I'm good to die finally."
Yeah. Yeah.
It is weird watching back. I know they try to make everything make sense in the canon, but like, what was he thinking?
I think there is a reason for that. And I think they made that clear with part 6 right here. And they made it clear in part 6 based on something he said in episode 3. He cannot kill Anakin.
Right.
He can't do it.
Which, yeah, he proved that again.
Yeah, 2 times.
He proved that again.
Chances.
He can't do it. He can't bring himself to do it. And how emotional he gets at the fact that he still can't walk Anakin back from that path. Like, well, I think they did a really good job of executing this. He cannot kill Anakin Skywalker. He cannot bring himself to do it.
But
he loves him too much.
He did come to grips with what Anakin has become. Because he walked away saying, goodbye, Darth. I mean,
yeah, he knows what has to be done. And he's come to grips with what has to be done, but he can't be the one to do it.
Right.
Luke has to be the one to do it.
Right.
I love the parallel where Ahsoka was like, "All right, then I'll kill you," like instantly when they were talking, because this the part 6 and the Rebels has so many similarities with that fight.
Sure,
but like Obi-Wan is still fighting like a Jedi, where Ahsoka's like avenging her master, which I think is kind of cool.
Oh, Ahsoka
so
said, "I'm no Jedi."
We get to see every side.
She says it. I'm no Jedi.
Yeah, it's.
So
I'm still there, man. Best character in Star Wars.
Yep, true. Best character. Cannot wait for that show.
I'm with you.
So
and Hunter, we're gonna want you every week when Ahsoka comes out.
Oh, I'll be here every week. I'll have thoughts.
Excellent.
All right.
If it's bad, I'm gonna go on 3-hour rabbit holes.
You know,
be ready.
I'll be right there with you. It's gonna be
It's not gonna be bad.
If
I
it's
know.
somehow bad, if they somehow mess it up, I'm probably giving up on Star Wars.
It's Filoni.
Hey, did you
dude.
see? Did you see the promo shot for it
I
with
did.
the director's chair and a cowboy hat?
Yes.
We're okay.
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
are. We better be.
Yeah.
And that little the clip with Hera in it too. So it's like, okay, this is
Oh
just the
my
next season of
God.
Rebels.
Yeah.
This is just Rebels.
Yeah, this is Rebels season 5, right?
Yeah. I had to think for a second. Yeah, I think because they were split up into. I think the last season was split.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it was 4 seasons. I cannot walk away getting that wrong.
So, I have to say one little thing, and I'm not sure why this bugged me, because it's true to Obi-Wan's character, but Reva comes back with Luke, says, I couldn't do it. This is me
Oh, wow.
personally. I'd have a hard time saying, you're okay now, just, be the person you want to be. Oh, wow, what?
We're going there?
Well, whatever. I don't know where else you want to go.
We're
Then
going
go
right
where you want to go, Joe.
Huh? And yes, there was 4 seasons of Rebels.
Okay.
But it's like right to the very end. Like,
I mean, I'm down.
Well, whatever.
We always go everywhere.
oh yeah. It's cool. I was shocked. That's
All right. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Like, it does seem very trusting, but I think in that moment, Obi-Wan is just so with the Force that he senses it. He's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You have changed. I know your past. You're a Padawan. You literally had everything you know just destroyed, and you still did turn completely.
Right.
So I
I
think
mean-
he's kind of just like, okay, get out of here. Like, if you ever come around again, I'm probably gonna kill you, but like, go do your thing.
Now, if he'd have said that, I'd be more on board. But,
Yeah, but he's not gonna say I'll kill. He's
yeah.
especially after doing all that.
Well, let's also think he just left from dealing with Anakin Vader, right? Like
Right.
he just left that. And think about his interaction with Anakin on Mustafar in episode 3. He was already like, only a Sith deals in absolutes, and he's like, all right, I grabbed my lightsaber. Like, oh, that's not negotiating and like trying to calm things down. It's like, well, I'll do what I must.
Yeah.
You said an absolute, dude. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, Jedi are hypocrites.
So with her, it was, look, you made a choice. You made a choice to not go that way. You did what you did, seeking revenge, but when it came down to, murdering a true innocent, you walked away from that. You said
Right.
no.
Right.
I think
And-
didn't he also say like you don't control, like he doesn't control you?
Right.
That was big because he was controlling Obi-Wan too. Like he was blaming himself for all of that. So I think they related a lot right there.
Well, he did say we're both free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he really let that Anakin stuff weigh on him, and I think that's the purpose of the vision that he saw while he was buried under all those rocks. He's hearing all the stuff with Anakin and all the self-doubt and blame that he's put on himself over the years, and then he looks at Leia, the future, the innocence, the light,
Right.
and now he can get out. Now he's got hope again. He can proceed. He's done beating himself up and staying down. He's not a prisoner to what happened with Anakin anymore.
That's the key right there. Is he's not blaming himself anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
He shed off all that self-doubt, that fear, all that stuff.
The guilt.
Yeah, the guilt. He's not to blame. Anakin made his own choices. And here you look at another choice Anakin made, right? Leia, the future, the light, right? Like, there's hope there. So, yeah, shut off that self-doubt. Go for it.
And then that's when Qui-Gon appears and says, took you long enough.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming, but it still made me laugh so much when he just showed up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I totally figured he was going to be like, oh man, about time. Like, what took you so long? Been watching you. And he had the exact vibe and personality that I was thinking.
He's like, "Oh, you're a Jedi again. Welcome back, dude."
Right.
Yeah, I really do hope we get to see more of him if there is a season 2 or something.
I think it would be necessary if there's a season 2.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say necessary because they can imply everything that Obi-Wan's learned or whatever, but it's like, people do want to see that because
Yeah. Because we're getting not Obi-Wan. We're getting Qui-Gon and Count Dooku in that new animated show too. So like we're getting more Qui-Gon
Right.
content. So it could be setting up for it.
Could be.
yeah, interesting. So where do you want to go next, Joe? Because I don't want to jump to a spot you don't want to go to.
Oh, well, does it matter now?
Oh, I ruined it all, huh?
I didn't say you ruined it. Stop it.
Okay. All right. Something that was bugging me throughout this whole series a little bit, I knew they'd wrap it up somehow. Okay. But is the whole, the line we get from Leia through R2 in episode 4, right? And they
felt it was very disconnected from a personal relationship with Obi Wan Kenobi,
yes.
and here they establish a personal relationship with Obi Wan Kenobi.
Right.
So that left a hole.
So,
well, how do you feel they did with wrapping that up?
Well, they wrapped it up. They wrapped it up. I mean,
they kind of doubled down on it.
They had a little discussion about, if anyone finds out, this could be very dangerous for both of us. And, okay, and I would imagine that Leia has some affirmation about that from her parents, right?
Bail.
And okay, cool. So she knew Obi-Wan / Ben when she left that message and did it in a way that implied she didn't. Okay.
Well, I get that. And is it the perfect way to tie this up? No. There probably could be a more perfect way. I don't know what that is.
Right.
But
nor do I. But it's
but I will say, given that choice that they made, that creative choice they made, I think about the second scene where she refers to Ben Kenobi differently. When Luke says, "I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you, I'm here with Ben Kenobi."
Right.
And she goes, "Ben Kenobi, where is he?"
And gets excited.
That seemed like she knows who he is. And this is a adding context, right? Like you add this context, that kind of fits. It's kind of good.
This is what's done with Star Wars all the time. It's retconning Carrie Fisher's overacting in 77.
Yes.
But it works. I agree that it works. So,
and I'll tell you what, I see that special thanks to Dave Filoni in the credits, and I think this is why.
Absolutely.
I mean, it also helps, okay, she named her kid Ben, right?
Yeah.
Now it makes a bit more sense instead of it, because it makes sense for Luke.
I did think about that.
I left
earlier
the context of the sequels out all along, and now that you say that, okay, that's even better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, because Han Solo has no, unless he somehow shows up in Kenobi season 2, but he has no, doesn't know him.
I mean, he met him.
Yeah.
Crazy old fool.
He referred to him in a derogatory way once too, didn't he? Oh yeah, where did you find that old fossil?
A fossil,
yeah.
So it definitely didn't come from Han.
Yeah, I am looking forward to watching a New Hope again. I haven't been able to yet after finishing Obi-Wan.
No, I haven't either, and I want to do that. And I'll tell you what, I do like that. I never thought of the sequels in this context, and because I always wondered, why the hell would she name her kid Ben? It's not like she knew him that well.
It was almost like flipping off the legends.
Yeah.
Folks. It's okay, come on. Like, all
You're
right.
not going to get Ben Skywalker. You're going to get
Yeah.
Ben Solo. Ha 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 ha.
It's like,
ha.
all right, no Mara
And all you
Jade,
Jaina
no,
fans
no
can
Jason,
suck it.
no Jaina. Okay, yeah, it's fine.
And little Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't forget about little Anakin.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, in that context, it does make sense. I do like it, but it's where they're doing a good job with these TV shows that, you know,
Oh, they're definitely trying harder. Damn.
there you go. They're trying harder than they did with like some of the sequel stuff, in my opinion.
I
But
think that's why they're not making movies right now.
exactly.
Well, I think they realized their mistake with the movies, right? They just wanted to get product out, and
Yeah.
it was a wrong move.
I heard Taika Waititi talking about why it's taking him so long. And he's like, I'm still in the writing. I'm throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks, and I'm whittling it down to a story that makes sense. Good.
Yeah, we haven't heard any other director say that. It's like
Exactly.
they'll say something and they'll get fired, and then there's a new one.
Right.
So they definitely learned from that. I do want them to get out of this time period, though, because there's so many lines of dialogue that they're forced to do that I feel like everything they're doing right now is predictable.
So you want
Like,
to
we
see
know what's going to happen, so it's kind of starting to feel like fan service
something
instead of a
completely
story.
different.
Dude,
Yes.
you know, it's funny you say that right there, because when he was walking up to Luke after Owen says, "Do you want to meet him?"
Yeah.
I was like, he's walking up. I was like, oh, he's gonna say it.
Yeah, and there
He's
was a
gonna
big
say it.
dramatic pan,
What
and it focuses on him. Like, come on.
the beauty part about that whole shot to me was it almost looked like Ewan couldn't keep the smile off his face, knowing he was going to
Yes.
say what he was going to say.
He was gonna do it.
Yep.
Like,
Yes.
and you know what? It's funny because like I was like, oh crap, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it, and then they do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of glad they did it.
Yeah, of course. It worked right there.
Especially that ended on.
Like
I
a
guess-
little bit of cheesiness is let's do it, right? Like,
yeah, that's part of Star Wars.
it's fun. It's fun. But at the same time, like Hunter said, I don't want to hear this constant regurgitation. You know,
Right.
like I one line he used that I didn't kind of appreciate was when he said, "I'll do what I must." I'm like, did he have to say that again?
Yeah.
I'll do what I must, and then I'm not gonna actually do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say in that moment though, watching Obi-Wan with all of his classic moves and everything, it was awesome.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine because you know his fighting style's not gonna change.
Well, okay. Something that was, signature, right? His initial fighting stance in Rebels, he deliberately changed it, facing off to Darth Maul. It was like, oh, that was for whatever reason. Maybe it's the environment they were in, and
No,
All
he
that-
switched to Qui-Gon style, which I'm guessing Qui-Gon will teach him here.
it made me think of that.
Yeah.
When he faced off against Vader here, it's like,
But not only that,
Pretty
like
cool.
Darth Maul has been like obsessing over Obi-Wan, even more so than Vader does, right?
Oh yeah.
well, yeah. I mean,
Like Vader wants to find him, but Darth Maul is like absolutely obsessed. Every winking minute is about getting to Kenobi.
right?
So it's a good move to actually like go to a different stance because it's like he's going to be thinking about everything you did last time.
Yeah.
So if you just flip it up a little bit, he's going to be like, ah, shit,
Then
what
you're
did I do?
fine.
Right.
Have you guys seen the soundbite where they mix Vader screaming Obi-Wan and then Maul saying Kenobi?
No.
So it's just a long scream of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Did you see Sam Witwer scream Kenobi at Celebration?
Yes. That has to hurt, right?
It's
Like
got to.
Like, I bet every fan walks up and asks him to do that.
That can't be good for your cords.
No. I want to see him in a live action show soon. Make him someone.
I'm gonna be like, I'll go even further. Like, I kind of want to see an episode 1 special edition where they mix in Sam Witwer's voice.
Oh God, wow.
I mean, I like his voice even more, like, than dude from Shaun of the Dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the roommate that was the zombie in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Darth Maul.
What?
Yeah.
Huh. Fake fan, I guess. Jeez.
Oh, stop.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Just a Sam Witwer fanboy, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Force Unleashed still the best games.
Force Unleashed. Then he does Darth Maul. Then he does the Emperor. It's like, what can't this guy do?
Yeah.
All right. So, things we haven't talked about yet. Owen and Beru.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of how that went down? Oh, here we go.
I liked it. Like, it was funny. It made me laugh. Like, I thought they were gonna get just like force pushed away, but they're actually holding up a fight. I thought it was hilarious. It reminded me of like some southern farmers or something, just ready for a zombie apocalypse.
Well,
they're just so ready.
I mean, that's exactly what they were. Really,
Yeah,
when you think about
exactly. Well, I
because-
mean, we've never seen that side of them, so it just second she's like, "Oh, yep, guns are hidden right here."
they knew they had to be ready for that someday, though, right? It's a
Yeah,
possibility.
I mean,
having
and Tusken
Luke.
Raiders too.
Sure.
Like,
Damn
life
preppers.
is dangerous.
And I will say, I did like that little touch that the blasters were hidden, because they might need them at any point in time, right? Yes, for Tusken Raiders, for someone coming to look for Luke, whatever. But it's also probably not something you just want hanging over the mantle for when the Empire just
Does a
spot
house check.
checking. Exactly. So, it's thinking of the period that we're in here, just regular old farmers probably don't, quote unquote, need to be having blasters around. So it's
It's
nice
really
that they
a good
put that.
nod to George Lucas's influence for the Empire with like Nazi Germany, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like, your standard household's not going to have blasters just chilling out because, the Empire's not going to be cool with that.
Right.
So yeah, I like
it was
I
a
like
nice
that a
little
lot.
touch. Yeah.
But yeah, they're total preppers though. I mean, they're hiding weapons. They're collecting water.
Yeah.
Like.
That's funny.
But I did like how Owen was balancing the battle by exploiting an injury.
Oh,
He
yeah.
saw it. He's exploiting it because he doesn't have a chance. He doesn't have a chance otherwise. She's wounded and he exploits it.
Yep. And really,
I
it
liked
wasn't until he did that she was like, okay, done with you. And that's when he got the
Yeah.
big force push off the walkway and, got injured.
Yeah, I do love when villains aren't evil just to be evil. Like, Reva had an objective. She thought, like, okay, I'm gonna kill Luke to get revenge, but I don't need to kill everyone.
Exactly.
Because yeah, she could have dispatched them right away. But I did
Agreed.
like the restraint a lot. Makes the character a little bit more interesting than just slaughtering. Unless you're Vader, then it's just fun.
Well, I'll agree with that because at the beginning of this series, there was all this rumor about this redemption arc for Reva.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm tired of redemption arcs for every villain we put in anything anymore.
Yeah.
Like, why does every villain have to go good in the end? Like, why can't there just be bad guys?
Right.
And because I mean, look at the bridge of that Star Destroyer at the end. Vader gonna get redeemed. The Grand Inquisitor gonna get redeemed. Like,
True.
and then now we got Reva. She's gonna get redeemed.
But I guess I like that it's not instant. Hers
It's
felt a
not
little bit more natural.
But it's not even really a redemption arc.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I liked about it most.
She's kind of
It was,
back to zero, right?
yeah, she had an objective. There was an agenda that she was trying to accomplish. That was all she was there for.
Right.
She's not a villain in the real sense, right?
True. I mean, she was trying to kill Vader. She was doing anything to kill Vader.
And not just kill Vader, but just to get back at him.
Yeah.
Like, her next thing was like, okay, I couldn't kill him. Well, I'm gonna go kill his son that he doesn't know about.
Which, man, I have so many problems with that message. That Bail sent to Obi-Wan. Like, oh, hey, Obi-Wan, I think you're dead, but hey, just checking in. How's that kid doing on Tatooine?
Yes.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
That was horrible. I think that was the one thing in the entire series that actually pissed me off.
That was to move the plot along. Yes.
There was a lot of stuff in this series to move the plot along.
Yeah, true.
So, all right, this planet to this planet, this ship to this ship, we're running from here to here.
Well, I mean, that's honestly my biggest complaint about part 6 here is it felt rushed.
Yeah, like him leaving Vader and instantly getting the Tatooine felt very weird. It makes the galaxy feel very small.
Right.
Yeah. There is.
Which, I mean, we had the same problems in the sequel trilogy and Mandalorian.
It's like he leaves when he feels Luke get knocked down. And then he's there by the time she gets Luke back to the homestead.
Yeah, like I know time moves differently on planets and stuff, but it can't be that slow. Like what?
Yeah, it's not that slow.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they got the point
strange.
across for telling the story. Though. That's the main thing.
And all in all, they did really well. Like they really did.
Yeah, I will agree. I think this had a pacing feel very similar to episode 3 to me. How it's like, okay, we've got certain things that we got to get in here. Let's get everything in we got to get in and then finish the movie. Go. You know, that's kind of, it did have that feeling. But
I'll tell you what.
Done well.
Episode 3 really needs a like Return of the King like director's cut.
Oh my God.
Oh, 3.5 hour version? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really does because it is rushed. You're absolutely right.
There should have been 4 movies.
And
for
it's
the
not
prequels.
rushed it's not rushed in the J.J. Abrams sense where he wrote it rushed.
Right.
Like it was probably actually condensed down. I bet there's stuff out there that could episode 3 would probably really benefit from a special edition.
Easily. I mean, they had to get rid of Dooku, make someone else that can like rival him. The entire downfall of the Jedi, like all of Order 66, what happens to Obi-Wan to make him somehow survive, and Yoda. Like there's just so many little pieces. Yeah, definitely. 4 hours maybe.
I mean, we have to make Anakin
get the
look
Snyder cut.
so bad.
Yeah, make it
by
6.
killing
I'm
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So let's talk about the season as a whole. We've done that a little bit. First off, I gotta say, we haven't mentioned this, I don't think, at all. But Jimmy Smits, I mean, come on, man. How great was he?
Yeah. He wears this role very well.
He's perfect, man.
Yes.
Like, he just steps right back into it. He's just right back into Bail Organa. It's so good. Every time he shows up, it's like, wow, have you stopped thinking about this? Like,
yeah, he has the
like
exact same expressions and everything. It's kind of
expressions,
weird.
mannerisms, voice inflection, like everything.
Yeah.
Never misses a beat. And somehow still looks like he did back in.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're using like de-aging stuff on him. Nope. Just looks like
Jimmy
that.
Smith.
Right.
Yep. Like even in Sons of Anarchy, I was like, hey, Bail Organa. But he got tattoos.
It's funny.
But he even kind of talked like that in Sons of Anarchy. But yeah, anyway. Beginning of the season, the beginning of the season was a rough spot for a lot of people. It's when it got its most complaints. Things got a little wild. Do you feel like they built on it really well and made the beginning of the season, like, now if you go back and watch the beginning of the season again, do you feel better about everything that happened?
No.
Really?
No.
Wow.
I think this series wanted to be episodes 4 to 6 so bad that there's no way to get there in 6 episodes. Or I guess 3. Like, because it was all built for that ending confrontation. I mean, before the series even came out, they were saying like, oh yeah, there's going to be a confrontation. Which I thought was so weird. Like, why would they spoil that to everyone? Like, oh yeah, they're going to fight.
You talking
Yeah,
about?
and then have that be the thing they built to, like,
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I could watch it again. I don't know if I ever will, but I could watch the whole thing again, and it could make more sense. I mean, I liked episode 1, and then 2 and 3 felt weaker to me.
agreed. And
Yeah.
that's really what I say beginning of the season. Episode 1, I don't think there was too many complaints.
No, it was a setup episode, but
For
I was
sure.
liking where it was going. It was like,
Yeah,
it's going to be slow.
And seeing
fine with
Obi-Wan kind of do the grind, right? Like,
Yeah,
he's just trying to live a normal life. Like, I dug all that. But you're right. 2 and 3, the only complaint I have about episode 1 was that absolutely ridiculous Leia chase scene.
Yeah.
that was the first episode. I thought that was the second.
That's the first episode.
Oh my god, never mind. Yeah, okay, so the first 3 then. Oh wait, 4 is bad too. Yeah, okay, so 5 and 6. 5 and 6 were great.
Bad. Wow.
Because
Why was 4 bad?
just the way they were able to get through that Inquisitor stronghold, and how they were walking out with Leia under the. I'm okay with some cheesiness in Star Wars, but that episode was just, how is the Empire even functioning
It is
if
in,
their workers are that bad?
It is in no way anything like how they were able to just walk through a Death Star, right? I mean,
I've never once said those words.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing, you know.
He's got you there.
I mean,
It's nothing like when the Mandalorian just like takes his helmet off and scans his face, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can access all the."
it's
all
just
the
a dude.
important shit."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
We were-
These are the bad parts.
yeah.
Well,
We
just-
were making sure you were human.
They build up the
Yeah.
Empire sometimes to be something that we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, everyone's scared of them. But then we see them just be complete idiots, and it's
Well,
like, how?
We're reminded that
why?
they are an enormous bureaucracy, you know, which, you know, once something gets that large, it's bound to have huge flaws. So,
Yeah, have
Dude.
we ever seen them actually be threatening though? Like besides like the top, like the leaders?
No, and I think that's the point. I think when you get that big and you're trying so hard to hold people down that you have these gaping holes
well,
that people are able to exploit, and it seems simple, but they're overlooking the simple things. They're not thinking anyone's just going to walk. Like, they are so overconfident that they're like, no one is going to walk in and just try to use one of our terminals.
right.
They're too terrified to do that. And then when someone does it, it's like, oh shit! Wow, we should have thought of that.
Okay, I kind of like that.
When you look at something like the Empire as large and as over the expanse of the whole galaxy as it is, you know, it's just a matter of this is how things are. The populace is just like, okay, checkpoint at Mos Eisley, you know, come across the stormtroopers and, you know, how long have you had these droids? You know what I mean? It's like that's just what people have to deal with on a daily basis in the Empire. And
Yeah.
it's mundane to them at that point. You know, it's
Well, then not only that, have you guys ever gone anywhere you're not supposed to be? Right?
yeah,
Like just walked into a place where it said no access and you just went in anyway.
sure, yeah,
Oh,
The key is act like you're
confidence.
supposed to be there.
Exactly,
Yes.
confidence.
Just act like you're supposed to be there, and they'll never catch you. Literally ever.
Yeah, because they're counting on the sign doing all the work. It's
Yeah, it's a fear of the sign. Like authorized personnel only. If someone walks through like they're authorized, they're like, yeah,
if they
they're
weren't
probably
authorized,
supposed to be here.
wouldn't be here. Yeah,
I have no idea who the hell that guy was, but shit, I don't know everybody, so
exactly. And
I mean, that is a point that.
But all of that being said, that's why I don't have a problem with the way they infiltrated the Inquisitor stronghold. That's, you know, it's possible, especially with what's her name, was it Tala, her
Yeah.
clearance and all that. You know, that makes it even more legit. You know, getting in there. You know, she was able to access the terminal. She was even questioned at that terminal. You know,
Yeah, and she knocks the guy out. No
Yep.
one sees it or finds the body.
well, you know, everyone has to
I mean, that stronghold was supposed to be like the most secret thing ever.
right.
and like highest security, and he just swims and gets into it.
I think the most secret thing ever was a Death Star.
Until it
known.
blew up Alderaan, but
Right.
then it was gone in like a couple days. But
Yeah.
Uh.
It was so secret that Dooku told Obi-Wan all about it. But anyway,
yeah, everything about it. If he actually listened to him right there, they would have been fine.
Yeah, right.
No Clone Wars. Is there a canon reason? Because they keep bringing up the clones. Is there a canon reason why Palpatine got rid of the clones?
Well, I think we're gonna see some more of that maybe in Bad Batch.
Oh, there's that, and then I mean, we saw the like retired one in the first episode. Maybe they like malfunction or expire. I want to hear some kind of reason because we see the clones and they were a threat. Like you said, it seems like 6 clones can take on a Jedi, which is unreal, according to all these Order 66 scenes we keep saying.
I think there's a difference in the beginning, right? The conscripted in the beginning of the Empire, these are people that are willingly signing up,
right,
to fight for the Empire. So they probably have a even more malleable spirit
than being programmed.
Well,
yeah, but like
when you think
they're
about
programmed for the Republic.
Yes.
And they'd have to redo an entire system to make them program for the Empire. So conscripted, you can brainwash them real easy because they're willingly signing up.
I mean, I think we're seeing that these inhibitor chips are
it's all about credits, man.
Only so good, right? It's
all about credits. Like, do we retool the production line, or do we just get some brainwashed idiots to fill the gaps?
Yes.
And then waste all of their money on building a giant thing to kill planets.
Well, yeah, I mean, and once you get that, you don't even need the conscripted soldiers anymore because, like, oh, you're screwing up? We'll just blow you up.
Exactly.
And then it's gone and they build another one.
Yeah. That sounds familiar. That was a gigantic waste of money. Let's do it again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that sounds familiar. So, yeah.
Well, I will say, as far as Obi-Wan's concerned, this series, I was a little troubled at the beginning, okay, with a few things, It started off slow. I wasn't as big of a fan as a lot of people were with Obi-Wan being the quote-unquote broken man, I think it all ended in a very good spot. And overall, it was done well. So I'm happy with the product we got. Is it perfect? No. But it's damn good Star Wars. So.
All right. So since we're wrapping this up, I'd like to just do a character rundown. Okay? Just kind of break this down into characters. We'll just stick to the major ones. I'll ask each of you guys how you feel. And that's how we'll close this out. So first up, obviously, Obi Wan Kenobi. Doug, how do you feel they handled Obi Wan Kenobi?
Well, I guess I kind of just said a lot of it. He wound up in the spot that I think he needs to be at this point. Able to commune with Qui-Gon and letting Luke kind of grow up, kind of thing, all that, because that's and letting go of what happened with Anakin. So
yeah,
that's all stuff that needed to happen. It's checking the boxes for Obi-Wan. So he started off kind of shaky for me, but ended up in a good spot. So
okay, Hunter.
One thing I will be incredibly happy for towards Disney is casting Ewan McGregor again instead of casting someone else.
You don't have a choice.
I think he carried this role. His acting chops are the best, I feel like, out of any actor in Star Wars. So seeing him have the old lines is great, but just seeing the emotion in his face really carried a lot of the scenes for me. I thought he was handled very well. I actually did like the whole broken man thing. I thought it was gonna not finish though. Like I thought that was gonna be a thing that will continue on. But I did like it. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I'm okay if I don't get to see that.
Okay. So I'll echo what Hunter says a little bit. Like I did like the broken man thing, but for a different reason. I liked it because it gave more weight to him coming to terms with Anakin. You know, he realized it wasn't his fault. You know, Anakin was just beyond saving by the time he realized what was going on, and maybe even before that. So I liked the fact that he was broken because of what happened with Anakin, and by the end he came to terms with it, found himself as a Jedi again, and was able to move past it. So yeah, I dug that. I thought they did really well. Okay, Reva, Doug.
So, at first, I thought her character felt a little one note, almost like, just the brutalness, right? Just in the town square, taking off the woman's hand, and just that bar owner or whatever, cafe owner, throwing the knife at him, and just to get the reaction out of the Jedi in the room, just no care for anyone else, right? Which, I guess we see by the end of this a little more depth in the character. So she was driven by one thing, right? She wanted her revenge on Vader. And we finally got to see more later on when she let that go. So I don't know. It was good. I honestly feel like, yes, we are going to see more of Reva somehow, some way, and be interesting to see what she does, because she has certain knowledge here that
a lot of it,
yeah, that could affect her story moving on. So,
all right, Hunter, Reva.
I enjoyed how hateable she was in the beginning. I heard a lot of fans being like, "Oh my God, she's so unlikable. She's so mean for no reason." I'm like, yeah, she uses the dark side. She's trying to gain something. You shouldn't like her.
Right.
Like, she's not trying to be a good and likable person. Like, it's good that you don't like her. That's what they're going for. I enjoyed how, like, okay, passion, right? She seemed like she was on her way to be an actual Sith compared to the other Inquisitors, which are way more laid back. Like, she's like, no, I want power. I crave power. I'm going to get it. So I like that. I liked where her character ended. I would have been perfectly fine if she died. Because just people having knowledge of Luke and Leia existing it's just so risky.
Right.
And I know we talked about this before, but the whole redeeming yourself from the dark side usually ends in death. Like, every time we've seen it, it's usually they die, right? Ben Solo, Darth Vader. I thought it was going to be Reva, but
I mean, so I want to ask a question on that. Like, is she really a dark side character?
see, that's the thing. I don't think she totally fell. I think she might have convinced herself she did, though. Like, oh yeah, there's no hope. But I think she was always holding on to something, which is why she couldn't kill Luke. So I like that moment a lot. I think that helped her character a lot. And yeah, she was a good new character. I'm glad that there's new characters instead of just rehashes.
She could be something more along the lines of what Ahsoka's become, right? As far as light, dark, right? Ahsoka, I'm no Jedi.
Just using the Force, instead of having a whole religion behind it.
Yeah. It's kind of the inverse of that, right? Like,
yep, exactly. Coming from the other side of things.
Yeah,
which is awesome to see. Like, that'd be cool if they interacted.
Oh, I like it. All right, like for me, one thing I bothered me with Reva in the beginning was like they really had her talking to herself a lot, and I didn't dig that a ton. Like, there was constantly these moments where she's like, "What I deserve, what I deserve," talking to herself. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, I thought that was a little much, right? But all in all, I did dig the character. I liked how, like Hunter said, I liked how unlikable she was from the get go. Like, finally, it was kind of a breath of fresh air for a villain, you know. With like, I hate doing this, but like with the sequels, right? Like right away, they're putting something in for Ben Solo to be like, oh, he's not quite there. He's being pulled to the light. See, he's not that bad.
Right.
No, with her in the beginning, she was bad. You were supposed to not like this character, and I liked their execution there. And then as that story fleshed out, she wasn't totally fallen. She had an agenda. Not a good agenda if you're a Jedi, but hey, it was something she could walk back from, and yeah, I thought it worked out. I was totally against the redemption arc for Reva, and somehow they made it work. All right. Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. Doug.
Well, I don't know. There's not much to say. I mean, that speaks for itself. I think moving forward, if anybody is going to be putting on that suit, it's got to be Hayden.
It's fair.
I mean, he did such a good job in this that, you know, there's just, I don't know. For me, he is Darth Vader now.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So, I mean,
Honor?
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
What I said about bringing Ewan McGregor back, I'm even more happy. Not acting wise, but just Hayden did not deserve that much hate from the prequels. Like, he didn't design the crappy writing. So I'm really happy he was able to come back into the Star Wars world with like open arms and get that experience. And I think he brought it to the screen. Like I said earlier, him studying Rebels, and I bet he studied like the Rogue One Vader and all the Vader scenes. I feel like he put in the work, and it definitely showed. So I think Vader was handled brilliantly, and we're definitely going to see more. And I really see Disney possibly making like a Darth Vader series after seeing how much people loved it.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the comic series. That's canon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Just
So
adapt
I agree
it.
with everything you guys said. One thing I will say, I was really, really happy with their decision to do a flashback scene and have Ewan and Hayden play their younger selves. And Hayden really shined. He stepped right back into that role flawlessly. Yeah, I was so pleased with. Honestly, yeah, I'm with Doug. Like, Hayden Christensen is Darth Vader, Anakin going forward. Like,
Yes.
Absolutely.
you got him back, keep him back. You know, don't let slack into the line. Like, just hold on to him.
Exactly.
All right, one more character. I feel we gotta talk about Leia.
Yes.
Leia, Doug.
Well, I forget her name, but the actress who played Leia did an excellent job, in my opinion. Now, some people might not, you know, like how, I don't know what the word is you'd use, but you know, if you imagined Carrie Fisher's Leia as a little girl, this is what you imagine. So, for me, it worked out really well. Yeah, I don't know, not much more to say than that.
Okay, Honor.
She was an annoying little cocky brat,
There you go. Yeah, those
which
words.
made perfect sense. The fact that people were like, "Oh, she's annoying." Yeah, she's a 10-year-old. No, 10-year-olds are annoying. Yeah. Like, it's almost like fans didn't like, these are people. I know it's a fantasy world, but like,
Yes.
yeah, she's a princess that's been coddled her entire life. And then she goes out on an adventure, and of course she has an invincibility complex. It just doesn't care and runs through blaster fire and fights back. I mean, yeah. And it made sense. And a lot of the stuff she did, it was like, oh, you could totally see Carrie Fisher doing that. So I thought it was awesome. It was perfect casting. I really just didn't expect her to be in that much of it, though.
Right.
I thought it was going to be like an episode or two, and then it's like, okay, that was a cool little cameo. But no, she was like a main character.
Yeah.
It was very cool seeing like all. I don't know if it's all, but most of her motivations like being built upon this stuff happening. Like she got to see how terrible the Empire was, and like get a reason to fight it this early on, and that just makes sense a lot.
Right, because like you would imagine that you'd see more of like like the guy that gave him a ride, right? Like,
Yes.
nothing wrong with a little order.
Yeah.
Which that was so cool to see.
Yes.
Like seeing people just not like because that would happen. That was real.
Absolutely.
That was very real.
That-
They're,
Like, oh yeah, the Empire hates me, but you know what? They do this thing that I kind of like, and I'm gonna support them.
That mindset goes right along with what we were talking about earlier with, it's another checkpoint, stormtroopers. Okay.
Yep.
It goes right
Yep.
along with that. Yeah.
And how the stormtroopers were actually not cool, but they're like, oh, yep, it's you again. All right.
Yep.
Like, move along.
right. So I will agree with both of you guys on Leia. Like I love the way they executed it. Her like Hunter put it, annoyingness, right? Like it was really well done, but I really feel they did a really good job with character growth here. And shaping her Anakin side, right? Like the aggressive negotiation side. Like she straps a blaster to her, hip there at the end, or a holster.
Holster.
No
yeah.
blaster in there.
She was
'Cause,
10 after all.
which was a great scene. Like she's like, it's empty.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to give you a blaster, Leia. You're 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like that from the beginning, she's mischievous, little rich girl, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Running off, just making hell for her parents, and then at the end, she's like, she's been through this ordeal, and now I'm going to do this my way.
Right.
Like I want some changes. And she's got this look about her that just has this attitude. I was like, that's Leia. They really did a good job of making her Leia. The Leia we know was shaped in this series. It really was.
Yeah, for sure.
From innocent little kid to the Leia we know. I thought that was fabulous. And yeah, the casting, perfect. That little girl's got skills. All right. Well, I mean, do we need to do it? We already did an overall. We already did.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to get out of here, guys.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot.
All right. Well, if you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media, at The Wars and More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore, at The Wars and More on Instagram. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. We'll talk next week.